Hello, hello. I am Sarah from Free Your English. I have been an English teacher for over 23 years. Oh my goodness, time flies. And I specialize in helping people move forward in their English speaking confidence journey. Today, I would love if you would join me for Words on Wednesday. Words on Wednesday is where we do a deep dive into a really small selection of vocabulary. So join me, listen along, and of course, please put comments in the comment section. I will go back and I will look at your comments and I will offer corrections if they are needed. Some people absolutely adore that and they see the value in it. Other people are really frustrated by that. So if you don't want corrections to the example sentences that you try, please put in brackets, no corrections needed, or I don't want corrections, or something that indicates to me that you wouldn't appreciate corrections. Otherwise, as my offering of service to you, I will offer corrections if and when they're needed. I don't do that when people are speaking, obviously, because there's nothing worse than being interrupted when you're in the flow of speaking to get an immediate correction. But if you're writing an example sentence, then I think a correction is warranted. And I will do that as an act of service for you. And then, of course, I really encourage you to actually do the speaking practice because that can be really, really valuable. Okay, let's jump right in. Okay, so here we are inside the English Speaking Society, which is my mini membership. And I'm actually going to get the vocabulary words from the March material. So each month there is a different topic, and the topic for March is why do humans laugh? So I'm just going to go into the March material and just show you briefly that there is a really interesting 5-minute video that is usually a documentary that you can watch, and then from that we actually pull about 10 vocabulary words. So that's where the words have come from. I'm actually going to use the version in Canva, so that I can cover it up easily. Okay, so the first word is the word allude. Here's an example sentence for you that comes from the video for March. Okay, we laugh to show that we agree with what someone said, that we remember the same thing that they're alluding to. So look at that example sentence and think to yourself, what does the word allude mean? Can you think of a word that would mean the same thing? If you've got an idea, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Here's another example sentence. The author alludes to the main character's sad past, but never fully reveals it. Okay, so alludes to the main character's sad past, but never fully reveals it. So there's something about it not being revealed fully that is contained in this idea of allude. So it basically means mention, to suggest or hint at something without stating it directly. So you mention something, but you are not being explicit. You're not stating it directly. You are mentioning it without being direct. You are alluding to it. So the feeling, the connotation around this word is often things that are needing to be a little bit hidden or to be very polite, or things that are a little bit shameful and you don't want to talk about them directly. So to mention something, to suggest, or to hint. Part of what is provided within the monthly material is a vocabulary journal that offers more precise help in studying the words that come up. So let's look at the vocabulary journal for March. And here we have the word allude. So It means to hint, to imply, or to insinuate something. The opposite, an antonym of allude, would be to state directly, to make explicit, or to cite. Here's one more example sentence. During the interview, the politician alluded to some controversial policies that she supported in the past, but she quickly changed the subject as she didn't want to discuss them in detail. Okay, when you learn words, it's really important that you also learn the collocations. Collocations are groups of words that go together. So, for example, a native speaker would say, take a photo, because those two words always go together for native speakers. A non-native speaker often makes the mistake of saying things like make a photo or create a photo. Now, the meaning is clear, but it sounds really strange for a native speaker. And so if you want to work on your fluency, then studying collocations as you learn vocabulary words is really important. It's a high level task that you should be doing. So I give you all of the collocations for the vocabulary words for the month. So here are the collocations for the word allude. To allude to something, to allude indirectly, to allude briefly, and to allude frequently. Okay, if you are alluding indirectly, then it is a feeling of something is not quite ready to be discussed, either because you're wanting to be polite and not be rude, or because you're a little bit ashamed or embarrassed of it. So, for example, you might say, she alluded indirectly to the fact that her relationship was having trouble as she mentioned their arguments. So perhaps that person is not ready to say, oh, my relationship with my husband is really bad. We're arguing all the time. But they might allude indirectly. So she alluded indirectly to their troubles. She alluded indirectly to their arguments. So there's this idea that something is shameful or embarrassing, or it's not ready. It's not something that the person is ready to talk about. If you allude briefly to something, it's not important. So the boss alluded briefly to the fact that their lunchtime was going to change, and maybe it's not really important for everyone. To allude frequently to something suggests that it is important for the speaker. So somebody who likes to name drop, to mention that they've met a famous person, might allude frequently to that. So they know that it's a little bit annoying to come out all the time and say, oh, did you know that I'm friends with, Madonna, and I've met Madonna many times? That would be a bit annoying. So they might just allude frequently to it, kind of drop the name, mention it often. So for example, she alludes frequently to the fact that she's met Madonna. Okay, I would love for you to try in the comment section to use the word allude in a sentence. Choose one of the collocations, either allude indirectly, allude briefly, or allude frequently, and see if you can write your own example sentence. I'll just quickly go through an example of each. So, she alluded indirectly to the fact that she wasn't happy at her job. He alluded briefly to the fact that he loves waking up early in the morning. They allude frequently to how amazing their house is. Okay, those are 3 examples. I would love to see if you can write your own in the comments section. And after this recording, I will go back through the comments and give you feedback if you would like it. Okay, we are going to do one more word. And we're going to look at the word chuckle. If you chuckled while listening to that clip, here's why. Okay, that's a difficult example that's come from the video. So let me give you another example sentence. He knew he shouldn't laugh, but he let out a chuckle when the presenter tripped onto the stage. Oh my goodness, that's a bit mean to laugh at someone falling over, but that's a good example sentence. So he knows that he should not laugh, but he did. So we can figure out that chuckle means to laugh. But a little bit more precisely, chuckle means a soft, quiet, or intentionally suppressed laugh. So sometimes you laugh when you're nervous or something is unexpected, but you know that it's not kind to laugh at somebody who's fallen over. And so you start to laugh, but you suppress it. You try to stop it. And so that would be a chuckle, a small laugh. And I've also provided here in this material some other examples of, the different kinds of laughter, because there's so many: giggle, chuckle, snicker, titter, snort, cackle. There's so many different words for describing how we laugh. But let's focus on chuckle for right now. So in the vocabulary journal, I don't fill out the whole thing. That's something that I encourage you to do on your own. But I certainly give you the collocations because they're really important. So to chuckle softly, chuckle awkwardly, chuckle nervously, or to chuckle to oneself. So chuckle to oneself is quite useful, and I know that I use that quite a lot. We use that often in the UK. And another way that we use it is we might say, I had a bit of a chuckle. So for example, I had a bit of a chuckle when I found out that I'd won the art competition, even though I wasn't really trying. I had a bit of a chuckle when I found my car keys in the fruit bowl. So chuckle to oneself. That's a good way of saying, gosh, I laughed at myself. Okay, I would love for you to go ahead and try in the comment section. Can you use chuckle with some of these connotations? So to chuckle softly means that you are aware that you shouldn't laugh. So for example, he was really nervous. Even though he was upset, he chuckled softly during the funeral. Like, no one should laugh during a funeral, but often people are upset and it comes out in strange ways. And so to chuckle softly, like, you're not supposed to be laughing. To chuckle awkwardly is exactly like it sounds. The situation is strange and you laugh out of nervousness. So she chuckled awkwardly when he asked for her number and she didn't want to give it. Chuckle nervously, kind of the same thing. And then chuckle to oneself, or to have a bit of a chuckle, we've discussed. Okay, go ahead in the comment section, see if you can use the verb chuckle in a sentence. And then the last thing that I will do is I will leave you with a speaking prompt that I would love for you to go away and practice recording yourself speaking using this prompt. Or if you are part of my chat room Facebook community, you could go live and do a live recording of yourself using this speaking prompt. So here's your speaking prompt. I'm going to click on the vocabulary-based extra prompts that come as part of your monthly material if you're a member of the English Speaking Society. And I'm going to spin this. Now, we haven't studied all the vocabulary, so I'm going to pick out whichever the speaking prompt is connected to the two words we've looked at. So where are we? Oh, how fortuitous is that? It actually did land close to a prompt that has the word chuckle. Okay, so here's your speaking prompt that I would love for you to have a go at. This purple one here. Can you describe a time when you couldn't help but chuckle at something, even if it wasn't appropriate to laugh? That is your speaking prompt. Please go away and practice. Please actually do the speaking prompt. It's definitely something that will help you move forward with your speaking if you can motivate yourself to actually take action and do some speaking. So that's your prompt. Can you describe a time when you couldn't help but chuckle at something, even if it wasn't appropriate to laugh? Okay, so I'd love to model an answer for me of a time that I had a chuckle even though it wasn't really appropriate to laugh. Here we go. A time when I had a chuckle to myself even though it wasn't really appropriate to laugh was the last time that I was watching a television program with my son called Nailed It. Nailed It means you've done something really well, but the title of that program is actually a bit sarcastic because the people within the program compete to make cakes, but they're not professional bakers, and so often the results are not ideal. And they have a bit of a laugh when they show their cake and they say nailed it, when actually they haven't done well, and the cakes are sometimes quite disastrous. Now I'm watching it with my little boy, so I want to model kindness for him. I don't want to sit there and laugh at people's terrible cakes, but sometimes it is really funny, and so I do often have a bit of a chuckle to myself when I'm watching that program without trying to show too much to my boy that what they've made is disastrous and quite funny. There we go. That was my example. I'd love for you to think of a time that you've had a chuckle to yourself when perhaps you shouldn't have, shouldn't really have been laughing, and go ahead and record yourself speaking. Just grab your phone, literally record yourself talking about that. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just follow that amazing phrase that I often use, done is better than perfect, and make sure you do that speaking practice. And again, if you're part of the chat room, I'd love to see you go live and see if you could do it that way. Thank you so much for joining me for this Words on Wednesday. I'm really excited to keep moving forward with this each week. And I'm also excited to offer you the opportunity to have all of this material that I've used and shown you at your own fingertips to use whenever you would like to. So if you're interested in knowing more about the English Speaking Society and getting your hands on the reading, writing, listening, and of course speaking material that comes out each month within that membership, then you can find more information about that in the link. Okay, hopefully see you next week. Take care. Bye.